Welcome to another video. Jackson here. And today I want to talk about past and future and why it is that our understanding of that needs to evolve if we're to undergo spiritual practice. Now, the conventional understanding of the past and the future is we tend to because it's part of our language, right? We tend to take that to be like a really fundamentally real thing, right? And we kind of have like the current experience, and then we're always referencing the past, and what are we going to do later? It's such and such o'clock now, and in the evening it'll be 8 o'clock, and at that time I'm going to do A, B, and C, whatever, right? And I think we're so conditioned to live in that as human beings, to live in that understanding of things, that we actually tend to live now very little, right? And so I want to explore a little bit, what is the truth? What is the past and the future really? What is it? Now, undoubtedly, we've had past experiences. All of us can say that, right? And we know that more experiences are going to come, right? So it seems very rational to us that, there is a past and a future, and what happened yesterday happened in another time called yesterday, and the future will happen in another day called tomorrow, right? And we imagine all the things that we're going to do tomorrow, and we remember all the things that we did yesterday, right? And it seems pretty rational to us, right? That's what it is. And I think that if we were to deny that, it would would probably be thought of to be a little bit crazy, right? But in spiritual practice, we have to kind of examine the past and the future a little bit more and find out what it really is. And what we start to find is that the only way that we understand the past, okay, and the future, and even the now, right, the way that we understand just whatever time it is we're in is through thoughts happening now, right? And sometimes feelings happening now, or emotions happening now too, right? Right? So if whatever happened yesterday, I went to the store and bought groceries yesterday, well, all we know of that now is the memory, right? The memory that happened, and that memory is a thought, right? That's actually arising now. It's not the memory, right? The memory of yesterday, going to the store, it's not arising in a place called yesterday at the store, right? It's arising now. We're experiencing that memory now, whatever your memory of yesterday is. And anything that we think about happening in the future, right? Anything that we kind of foresee will happen, because we always want to be certain about what's going to happen in the future, don't we? Even though not a lot is really certain, but hey, that's what we're programmed to do as human beings. We're programmed to think about the future, and that can actually be pretty reliable. We know that if we're scheduled to work at 9 o'clock a.m. tomorrow, we're going to be at work at 9 o'clock a.m. tomorrow, right? So it's not really questioning the reality of events that are going to happen or not going to happen. What it is more is we need to understand that everything that we project onto the future that seems so real, a future that actually seems real to us, and a past that seems real to us, but a future, is that it's just thoughts. It's thoughts arising now also. Anything that we're thinking about a future, well, it sure as heck is happening now, isn't it? The thought itself is happening now, but that's all we know of a future. It's all we know. Right? And even when we look at what's happening right here and right now, most of us are caught up in a dialogue about it. Right? We're labeling everything we're seeing, we're thinking about often, what is it that we need to do right now? Or sometimes we're just thinking about the past and the future, but when we're actually kind of tune in a little more to the now, oftentimes we're just doing it through thought. Like if we go to the park, it's like, oh, there's a tree, or there's a waterfall, and there's always this story that goes with it, right? Or I'm having fun right now, or I'm feeling bad right now, or whatever it is. I'm sad right now, or you're pissing me off right now, or whatever it is, right? There's a story and there's a feeling that goes with the story often. And even though it is about what's happening now, it's also just a thought. It's kind of taking that boundless experience of now and kind of compressing it down into a thought stream, right? A story, or a feeling, or a narrative of some kind, right? That's happening to a me, right? Also an idea arising now. You see? And so our understanding of all that has to transform a little bit. Okay? So we have to understand that all of it is just thoughts and experiences, emotions, memories, projections, all of that, labels, whatever, stories, narratives, all of it is arising now as, it's all arising now. That's the first thing to realize, is that past and future are arising now in the form of narratives, thoughts, memories, right? It's very helpful to see that. Why is it helpful to see that? Because now we can be aware of that in such a way that we're not constantly lost in it. We can observe it, and we can feel it and let it pass through us in such a way where we're not so self-referentially absorbed in that part of our experience only, and not our actual experience, right? So I'm not saying to the spiritual path and meditation, it's not about rejecting all of those things necessarily, or rejecting anything that we think about the future, or the past, or narratives we're having. It's not about pushing it away, right? It's more just like being able to see it, see that it's actually thoughts arising now, see that it's actually feelings arising now, and narratives, and happening to a me, that it's all a story. It's all part of one big story that's arising just spontaneously in our mind, really, and when we realize that it's just a story, and that we think that we're like a character kind of in that narrative, and there's me, and this is all happening to me, right? And we're kind of think of ourselves as a character within that narrative. But really, what we realize in awakening is that that character in the narrative is a thought stream arising within us. We're not arising within it. You see what I mean? We're not a self arising in a story. there is a story about a self arising within our mind, you see. And it's just an abstraction. It's an abstraction. It's not the real truth. It's just our interpretation, right? That gives us some kind of continuity in our experience. And, you know, that's actually helpful. We need to have thoughts and we need to have memories in order to survive in the world, right? What the spiritual path is it's not getting rid of that so we can't survive. That's not what it means. What it means is we're not unnecessarily caught up in the 98% of that is not actually really practical, you know. Most of it's worrying, most of it's fantasizing or being distracted or whatever it is, you know, just compulsively thinking when we don't need to be. And so we kind of become a slave to that a little bit, right? You know, how many people have you ever met who are like, you know, I feel depressed or I feel sad or I feel anxious, and, you know, they get really caught up in cycles of narratives and thinking and that can create a lot of stress, right? So one of the byproducts of awakening is that you don't have all that stress going on inside your mind anymore. Or if it still is arising, you know, maybe you're at a point where you still get a lot of it arising, at least you know how to meet it fully. You know how to meet it so that you're not resisting it and you're not caught in it. But you're sort of just aware of it, but it's not defining you anymore. You know, you're not identified with it, at least. And it's just sort of like another passing thing, like, you know, if you're walking on the sidewalk and there's cars driving by or a bird flying by, well, it's like, okay, there's a thought flying by. There's an emotion coming through right now. Oh, there's, right? So, but past and future, you know, past and future are just thoughts. And we spend most of our time, you know, cyclically stuck in that. Like, I should have said this to that person, or, you know, what am I going to do about this problem tomorrow, and blah, 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 blah. And sometimes it's just really useless thinking. It's just not thinking that's actually helpful to our situation. It's just a lot of stressful thinking going on, mostly tied up in the past or future. But it can be, you know, about the present situation too. Sometimes it's just about distracting ourselves. You know, what am I going to do later? You know, I'm sure looking forward to such and such, so I don't have to be here and now experiencing whatever crap this is, you know, or whatever, you know. And we can kind of get like really caught in just fantasizing about a future, right? Just looking so forward to something else that we try to like create a present that is like at least good thoughts, you know? Well, so we don't have to either live in bad memories or a bad present experience, you know? But I think that what happens though is that when you lose the labels about this stuff and about the present experience, and by lose the labels and dropping the narratives, what I mean is you're not attaching to it. You know, you're not wallowing in it. You're not resisting it so much. You know, our relationship with the past and future can really transform when we have this understanding that it's just thoughts. It's just feelings arising now. It's memories. It's projections. It's narratives, right? It's labels, right? And so we can let go of all that, to where we still experience it, but we're not enslaved by it, you know? It's not totally dictating what our present experience is, you know, to where we're so stressed out and we're so reliant on that to have a good experience or a bad experience, or, you know, or to, right? Because we're all seeking mostly to feel better. People are seeking to feel better, and so that's why we project about the future so much. It's like, looking for something better in the future. Sometimes it's resisting what's in the future, it's anxiety. Sometimes it's holding on to past memories that are good. Or sometimes we're plagued by bad memories arising, right? And so we try to resist those, but the resistance function and the attachment function, they're one and the same, ultimately. So when you relax that, when you start to relax that function, you just have here and now. Pure being. Not by bypassing that stuff, but by really seeing it so that it can be made conscious, so that it's not constantly coming back up and looping through us and stressing us out, right? And so meditation is all about here and now. And we can do that a lot. That can happen a lot easier when we understand that the past and future are ultimately thoughts. So if you found this video useful, feel free to like and subscribe. If you have a question or a comment, you can feel free to leave it below. And thank you so much today for joining me.